Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind.
Lundy, you'll be able to see the live.
Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's up, everybody? Today is Friday. That's right, today is Friday, January 11, 2019. And I got to tell you, it is the first and last time that it'll ever be Friday, January 11, 2019. So we want to make sure we make the absolute most of this incredible day. And I gotta tell you, folks, no one will know this later, but I'm gonna share anyway. We're running a little late today because for some reason it seems like whenever we have an incredible, powerful, over the top, just flat out amazing and phenomenal guest on this show, I run into something called technical difficulties. Y'all know how it is. It seems to happen whenever I got somebody on here so I can embarrass myself a little bit at 5:30 in the morning. But what better way to start a Friday than with a little adversity, right? Me and Delvin, my man Delvin Choice, we're actually just talking about that a little bit, and we'll dive into it here in just a second once I get the opportunity to introduce him to you. But first, I want to get everything rolling here this morning. Last night, we had our very first live session for the goalkeepers, 2019 goalkeepers, and it was absolutely over the top, phenomenal, and incredible. I'm telling you, it was incredible. You can ask any of the people that were in there last night. We dove in, got into some really deep, really powerful stuff. It was an amazing launch. I'm super stoked about it, and the reason I'm telling you about it this morning is if you have not signed up for goalkeepers yet, you can still do so today. The video from last night is stored. It's on file. It's in there, so you won't miss anything after today. You're going to start falling behind though. So I just want to make sure that you know about that. If you want to get in there, you still have an opportunity to do so. Now, before I bring my man Delvin Choice on, let's get everybody jacked up. Let's get everybody pumped up. We're going to play a little music this morning. Which one do we want to listen to today? Now, that ain't enough. Actually, you know what? Here, I'm going to try something. Let's do this. Instead of doing what we normally do. Normally we do a little music right here. Normally we dance a little bit. We get everybody kind of jacked up. Delvin's already been waiting long enough. What I will do is I'm going to say good morning to a few of you, like my good friend Sandra. Delvin can't hear. Let me do this. I'm going to bring Delvin in. We're going to do something a little bit different. Delvin, I'm going to bring you in because you've already been waiting long enough. Oh, let me see if I can do this. Hopefully I won't have any more technical difficulties. Let's go to this Zoom over here. Uh-oh. Oh, my gosh. Here we go. There we go. Delvin, they can see you right now. They can see you right now. They can see you, and they should be able to hear you right now, too, if I did it right.
Mic check. 1, 2.
He said, mic check, 1, 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say good morning to everybody real quick and let you know who's in here watching us right now on the live. Is that cool?
That is perfect.
Okay, cool. So right now we've got Danielle Rose is in here watching us right now. Casey Rossiter. Good morning, Casey Rossiter. Archie's up in here. Janelle Griego. Hold on, make sure my... Yep, sound is good. Janelle Griego. Anthony Santangelo's up in here this morning. Jeff Baker. Pam Biddle. Tom DeLolio. Neil Almeral. Josh Wilson. There's one guy on here, Delvin. Where did that go? Oh, my gosh. There's one guy on here, Delvin. This guy's been on like every single episode of hashtag Rise and Grind except for one. We've been on for just over a year. They call him Josh.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Now, see, I can't sing, so maybe you could do that for me. Could you do that for? Can you just give me a Josh O this morning?
Josh O. man.
That's what I'm talking about. My man Josh O's up in here. We've got Faye Giles up in here. Everybody, Eric Willeroy. There's about 85 people that are up in here live right now, right this second, at this time in the morning, which is crazy, especially since they've had to been patient with us. So I'm excited to get everybody up in here. All right, cool. If you guys will do me a favor, my man Delvin Choice, this dude is insane. Let me do something real quick. I'm gonna pull up one of your videos so they can hear you sing. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Which one are you gonna pull up?
I'm gonna pull up. This looks like I think this is the voice where all the judges just hashtag four. What was it? Hashtag
four chairs.
4 chairs. Yeah. I'm gonna show them that one. Is that cool?
Yeah, that's great.
All right, let's do it.
I've been so many places in my life and time. I've sung a lot of songs, made some memories. I've acted out my life in stages with 10,000 people. We're alone now, and I'm singing my song to you. There's no one important to me, baby, can't you see through me? We're alone now, and I'm singing my song to you. I love you in a place where there's no more space or time. I love you for my life, baby, you're a friend of mine. And when my life is over, remember when we were together. We're alone now, and I'm singing my song to you. We're alone now. Come on, do it! And I'm singing my song to you.
Why's Usher got to be so dramatic?
Hey, man, that's Usher.
Because he's Usher, because he can do what he wants.
He's Usher.
That's awesome, man. Dude, what was that? Tell me about that moment right there. What was that like?
Well, for me, many people don't know that that was my second time auditioning for the show. I had previously auditioned in 2000. What was that? Well, I'll say the season prior to that. Years run together because they do 2 seasons per year, basically. And I was fortunate enough to be able to make it for the season 5 auditions, but unfortunately I didn't make it. And then I was blessed to be asked to come back again and re-audition. I got to go straight to the blind auditions. I didn't have to go through the process that I went through prior in order for me to get to that place, which is a part of, you know, the testament of my life, which is basically trusting the process. And then on top of that, understanding that your process is going to always be different than everybody else's. And that's just everybody in general. And then, so I really wanted to be able to sing a song that was by one of the most influential artists for me, which is Donny Hathaway. And I was able to choose the song, which was very important to me. And to be able to sing that song and to try my hardest to do that song the justice that it is deserved, the best way that I was able to, and to get the response not only the judges or the coaches, but also from America and abroad. It was absolutely a dream come true and a blessing within itself.
That's incredible, man. There's these moments. There's these moments. I call them MITs, right? So these moments in time that you just remember forever. And I'm a crier. I'm one of those guys that cries all the time. And when I first watched that video and I watched how your voice just came out and instantly 3 of them were like, church. I'm like, this is one of those moments in time that, you know, that happen all around us, but we don't always get to capture them and share them with people. So I appreciate what you said there. I appreciate that you had your failures, you got knocked down, you didn't make it the first time around, but yet you didn't give up. You went back, you continued to fight so that you could share that moment with us. Yeah. Let's talk about that just a little bit. This morning, obviously, we had all kinds of issues and so on and so forth, and I appreciate you being so patient, getting on here. And we talked about that. Talk about what we were talking about this morning as far as on live TV, and you kind of run into the problems and trust in the process. Talk about that just a little bit more, because I thought that was pretty solid what you shared with me.
Well, it's basically what we were saying for those who weren't there was, you know, the frustrations, but yet the blessings of live anything. But for us, live entertainment, live theater, live music, anything live, it always comes with things, especially if you're doing production. So you got to make sure that all your T's are crossed and all your I's are dotted. But sometimes we miss a few, and it's okay, because, like I said to you, when I was doing the show, during a rehearsal, I was hard on myself. And we were blessed to be able to have some of the best vocal coaches that in this country. And her name was Trelawney Rose. And I'm always hard on myself when it comes down to my craft, just because that's just how I am. And she told me after the rehearsal, she said, "Delvin, you have to realize that whatever is meant to happen, happens." And that's the thing, trusting your process, trusting that everything that is meant to happen will happen, and it has happened for a reason. And so you just learn how to roll with the punches. That's what separates the professionals from the novice, you know, or the beginner. Stuff like this, you have to be able to handle it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a blessing within itself.
That is some beautiful, beautiful wisdom to share with this audience this morning.
Well, I pray that it makes sense at 6 o'clock in the morning, because anybody that know me know that I'm calling every hog in the barn. You hear me?
I'm calling every hog in the barn, he said.
Every hog, every cow. I'm calling all of them. Everybody coming.
You know, you and your, not to get a little bit off topic, but you and your buddy Mike Curtis from all that, he said, apparently you entertainer types are not necessarily early risers.
Well, it just depends, because you have a lot of entertainers who are morning people, you know, and a lot of people who get things done more during the morning time, so that they can have, I mean, like, it just depends on your person, how you are. Fortunately for me and for Mike, our side of the business, we don't do anything until y'all get off of, like, your average 9 to 5 people. Like, we go in when they're coming out.
Right.
And so the morning time for us is sleep. I'm usually up late anyway, but that's just how it is, you know?
That's just how it is. And see, here I am I got you up early, and then I run half an hour behind on you.
Rise and grind, man. Rise and grind. We got work to do.
We got work to do. We got souls to save, right? Souls to save.
We do. That's what we're commissioned to do, you know? As fishers of men, we are commissioned to go and reach those in those places where a lot of people are afraid to go, or too good to go, so they say, you know?
Right.
So let's do it.
Man, I love your wisdom. Now, two things I want to touch on. You're how old again?
I'm 29. This is that 30th year. That milestone, that first milestone.
That first milestone. That's right.
First milestone.
29 years old. You are quite wise for 29 years old. Quite wise. I love your wisdom. I love the depth that you have. Tell us a little bit about, where did that come from? How were you raised? How did you grow up?
My father's a pastor. My mom's a minister, and we grew up in the church. I grew up in the church. That's just how we were raised.
Right.
From my grandmothers to my grandfathers, everybody was brought up under that, and I can truly say that because of that, it has helped me along the way, and it still is. And my mom is my dear friend. She's literally like one of the closest friends that I have, and I'm blessed to be able to now call her a friend because, growing up.
Oh yeah, I get it.
Friend, I'm your mama. so now
it's amazing how that changes on your 18th birthday, right?
No, it ain't changed for me on my 18th.
No,
it ain't changed on that. Oh no, it ain't changed for the 18th. But in time it happened, and I surround myself around, or at least I try to surround myself around people who are wise and who are able to give me godly counsel. I have two spiritual mothers that I'm very close with from back at home. One is my pastor, and her name is Apostle Bertha Terry, and one of my other spiritual mothers, her name is Pastor Renee Glenn. And I have my mom, and I have a couple other people who have their hands tied to me as well too, that make sure that I'm still going in the direction. I cannot forget my father as well too. We as men, we learn from our fathers,
That's right.
So being blessed to be able to have those people who are able to see certain things and be able to see you, and not just settle for the exterior, hey, I'm good, versus like, let's talk, let's get into depth, and let's try to help you get to where you need to be in life.
Yeah, man.
So I've been able to get that, and now I'm able to impart that into the next generation, or even to just anybody who is willing to accept whatever it is that God gives me to say to you at that point in time.
Yeah, man. There's so much strength in that tribe, right? So much strength in that tribe, that circle, the people around you that are pouring into you, that are influencing you. That's awesome, man. And there's 96 people on here watching this morning that you're feeding into. Now I know you're not normally up this early, and that's, man, I love seeing the result of a loving home. That's where I'm going to go with that. I love seeing the result of a loving home, because you're obviously an incredible human being who loves people, who loves God. You're incredibly talented. You're just a powerful force on this planet. And I love seeing a good result from a loving home, man. Shout out and props to your parents. Shout out and props to your aunt and to the rest of the family that poured into you, because it's continuing to make long-lasting impact, right? And that's what it's all about, those long-lasting impact. So there's a bunch of people up in here this morning. I think we should maybe wake them up just a little bit in case they're still getting a little squirrely. So I know it's maybe is it too early for you to sing? I mean, can we get something from you right here this morning? Come on.
Let me think. Simple. Always. Oh, wrong key. Always remember Jesus, Jesus. Always keep him on your mind.
That's it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love my man, Darian Sanders. I got to introduce you to my boy, Darian Sanders. He's an incredible human being. He's done a couple Broadway performances, and he sings at, what's the name of that church? It's a big church up in Louisville now, and he's got an incredible voice, and I always make him sing. Every time, no matter where we're at, he'll be at the house, and he's like, I'm that dude. I'm that dude that makes you sing on command all the time, so I appreciate you doing that. You guys do me a favor. Hey, Casey, Leanne, Sandra, Vicky. Oh, there's Darian right there. My man Darian Sanders is actually watching this morning that I was just telling you about. All you guys, make sure you hit that share button. I want to get Delvin Choice out to as many people on this planet because he's truly an incredible human being. Now, Delvin, when you and I first talked on the phone, we talked a little bit about your journey. So we kind of had the big moment in time at The Voice, right? Hashtag 4 chairs, boom. And then you kind of had this whirlwind life. I want to talk about two things within that. One, I want to talk about what you're doing now and the stage that you're at now and kind of where you're at. But I also want to talk about through that whole thing where all the lights were on, all the cameras were on, all that stuff was constantly kind of in your face as you were going through that process. Being a man of God, was there some conflicts as far as, they always say that the Hollywood, the celebrity industry, that the devil's in the details of that place. And what was it kind of like being a man of faith in an environment that's kind of a little more glitzy, a little more glad, maybe a little bit more known for not so godly things?
Well, some people may hate me for that. It just reminds me of church, because because that's how the church is. The church is, especially with how things are going and how things have been. I mean, it looks like it is one thing on one side, and then when reality comes in, it's a completely different thing. And then that's where you have people who get their feelings hurt, who then start to judge because they're already imperfect people are judging imperfect people. But for me, I suffered with depression a lot, really bad. And a lot of people use that lightly. Some people take it seriously. Some people don't. But for me, especially after the show, that was when I dealt with it the most. And it was really bad. And it was so bad to the point to where out of things that I created a habit from just drinking and doing drugs. And people say, oh, well, what kind of drugs? Hard drugs, soft drugs is drugs. It don't matter what it is.
Right.
A drug is a mind-altering substance. So that can be anything from Coca-Cola to doing Coke. I didn't do Coke. But basically I suffered from a lack of fulfillment, which I feel like the definition of depression is. Being held to other people's standards and thinking that I'm supposed to be one place when God's saying to me that you're supposed to be in this season for a time, and being okay with that quiet, dark place. And it took a toll on me. It took a real bad toll on me to the point to where even during the times when I was on stage, I was traveling the world, I was, sharing the stage with artists that I grew up listening to and singing with musicians and just enjoying the fruits of that labor from that perspective. The saying, to whom much is given, much is required, is very true. And that was something that I really did not take into consideration. And people say, well, you're a Christian, you're a man of faith, you are this, you are that. God has already, given you the victory and all these different cliche things. But if people did not go through who were saved, then what's the purpose of the Bible? If you think about Job, if you think about all these different people from trials and tribulations, even with Abraham, with all these different people, we go through what we go through to make our testimony and to build the faith that we have.
Right.
Especially being a Christian, we believe in something that we cannot see, which is what builds up faith. And just growing in that, and because of some things that transpired, some people have gotten 5 DUIs. I got 1, and that was the one that's all I needed. I eventually went to rehab last year. Last year was the year for me where I took time to actually work on me. And I went to West Palm Beach, Florida. I was in a rehab facility there that changed my life. with some of the hardest people, but some of the most genuine, loving people that you'll ever meet.
Right.
It's nothing like being able to see yourself in different forms. And God always has a way to show you what you can be, good and bad, if you do X, Y, and Z.
Yes, sir.
And so after I got through I'm leaving all of this up. After I got through with my rehab in December, came back home, had some more gigs I had to do in January, and following up through the year. I ended up landing a job here in Myrtle Beach as a performer at the Carolina Opry, and that came about from losing a friend. And he passed. We did his funeral, and one of the young ladies that sing at the theater so happens to be one of the guys that helped me get my start in my city, and took me up underneath his wings. And she basically told me, "Yo, you need to come where I'm at." And from there, it was history. But one thing that I can say to those people who are watching is that don't be so caught up in what did not happen. Because if you continue and if you start doing the things that God has commissioned you to do, that's what that scripture speaks about, that obedience is greater than sacrifice, that you will begin to see the fruits of that labor. Because God has literally restored the years that I lost through my depression, restored the years that I lost through not having a consistent job. What people see is what they perceive, and that's what they think it's always, and it is. But it's not. It's hard being in the entertainment industry. It is not easy.
Sure.
Just like it's hard working a regular 9-to-5 job.
Sure. Having
somebody to tell you what to do, but that's where that other scripture where it speaks about how the race, and I always quote this, that the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to the one that will endure to the end. It doesn't matter how fast you are at doing something. It doesn't matter how strong you think you are. What's the purpose of being a strong, having seen a strong dude in the gym but doesn't have any endurance? It
Right.
defeats the purpose. So we just pray and ask God to strengthen that endurance, and that's basically what I've been doing. And He's restored the years. Now I'm doing exactly what I've always wanted to do, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
Now
Man.
I'm just enjoying this present. That's the reason why it's a gift. So I'm enjoying this present and trusting God that the future will be able to be exactly what it is that He calls for me to be able to do in that part.
My man, dude, I have got to go. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back and watch this again as soon as we get off of here, because I'm trying to listen to you and I'm trying to take notes, and you keep dropping so much dang wisdom all at the same time that I'm jotting down notes, and then I'm back up at you, and it's like, oh, dude, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love all of that. The endurance, understanding the endurance part about, and you don't know a whole lot about me yet, Delvin, but you and I are going to get to know each other a lot better going forward. But I had my journey. I had my journey, my trials, and I spent some time homeless and sometimes with drugs and alcohol, and I've been to jail, and all of those things created the testimony that I get to share today, which is what created the platform, which is what brought us right here today, me and you together in front of all of these people. It's what brought us to the present, which I love how you said that's why it's a gift. The present is a gift. That's strong, man. You don't even know you drop all this wisdom. This is just you. It just pours out of you.
I'm just regurgitating what's been put into me. just let it out. Let it out. It's not for us to keep, man. None of this is for us to keep. None of it. We get so tied up in worldly possessions. We get so tied up in ideas and thoughts and perceptions and all these different things. But we forget, this is not for us. You didn't go to jail for you. You went to jail for somebody else, so that somebody else can learn And that's only if they're willing and open enough to accept that.
Sure.
You know? So that's how I view that.
That's beautiful, my man. That's beautiful. All right, look, this show is we're supposed to talk for 20 minutes. That's what we're supposed to do. And I believe we were already on like half hour. We just been rolling through this. So there's something I want to make sure we do before we let everybody go, because they got to go work out, and they got to get to work, and they got to do all this stuff this morning. But before we let them go, first of all, I just want to say thank you again for your patience and for understanding the timing, for this morning, because I think you're 100% right. I think there's somebody watching right now that would not have been watching had we started on time. There's somebody watching right now who's maybe battled depression that wouldn't have caught the show if we started on time. There's somebody who's going through a season right now in their life that they don't understand. And maybe it's a season where they feel like they're getting no's, but those are really God's way of getting them onto the right plan. And so I'm sure there's somebody watching right now because we ran a little bit behind. So I appreciate your patience, and I appreciate you reminding me to trust the process and that we are not as powerful as we think we are, right?
Yes.
So I appreciate that. But before we get off of here, I do want to make sure we do something. We've got something here on hashtag Rise and Grind, which, by the way, before he does this 2-minute takeaway, make sure you hit that share button. I'm going to remind you guys one last time because I want the world to meet Mr. Delvin Choice, those that haven't already, through the voice. So on this show, hashtag Rise and Grind, we like to end with something called a 2-minute takeaway. And the way the 2-minute takeaway works is, Delvin, you, my man, you're up on top of a mountain, and all of civilization, everybody, they're all down there, and they're looking up at you, and they're like, Delvin, 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 and you've got 2 minutes. You've got 2 minutes to drop something on them, some type of words of wisdom, some type of practical application, something they can apply in their life today, to this week, this month, this year, something that's going to impact them forever. What are you going to tell them?
First of all, I would start by saying, just reiterating what we were talking about, trusting the process. And I think that we have a problem with that, trusting the process, trusting our process and believing in our process, trusting God to do exactly what he said he's going to do. And that is the thing. We have become a society where we want things when we want it, how we want it, like we want it. Nobody wants to wait for it anymore. Nobody wants to actually put in enough time in order to see the fruits of your labor. One thing that I will say is that when you start to compare somebody else's process to yours, is just as equivalent to trying to drive in one direction, but you're steady looking in your rearview mirror and you're not able to focus.
Yeah, man.
When you're able to focus, then you're able to say that I gave my all because I was intentional. When you're intentional, then there's less room for mistakes. We're all going to make mistakes, but when you're intentional about something, that means that I am focused, I am driven, I am purpose driven, I am intentionally listening to my higher power, whomever that may be for somebody, and I am willing to put my trust in my higher power. For us, or for me, it's God, Jesus. Put my trust in him and allow him to do exactly what he said that he's going to do, and not allowing nobody to get me off track. The reason why everybody always trying to figure out how in the world did the tortoise really win in the race between the hare? It's easy. It's because he trusted the process. He understood that the race is not given to the swift nor to the strong, but to the one that endureth to the end. He wasn't trying to be fast. He wasn't trying to show strength. He was trying to show that if you take it one step at a time, you will eventually get to the destination that God has purposed for you to get to. And for anybody that is dealing with depression, for anybody that's dealing with suicidal thoughts, for anybody that's dealing with addiction, for anybody that's dealing with those unheard of, unspoke of things that we just brush underneath the rug and bring it back up whenever we lose an entertainer or whenever we lose somebody in the media that we put on a pedestal to matter. They do matter, but I want people to know that you also matter as well, and that you're loved and that you're cared for and that you're valuable, not just for the things that people want you to do, you know, for the obvious, you know, but you are valuable beyond that. And that it is okay to go get help. It is okay to seek counsel and to put that pride aside. As an African-American male, I know in the African-American community, we are very prideful people.
Right.
And whenever you talk about going to rehab, it's almost like, well, don't nobody need to know your business. Somebody needs to know something so that they will be able to help you reach your full potential.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying?
I do. Yep.
And all of that is in alignment with trusting the process. You know, one step at a time. One step at a time.
Trust in the process. One step at a time. It's
Trust
not given
in
to
the process.
It's not given to the swift or the strong. It's given to he who endures. That is some powerful wisdom from my man, Mr. Delvin Choice. Delvin, can I tell you something this morning? I got to tell you, man, you are an amazing human being.
Oh, man, thank you, bro.
Amazing. Uniquely made, right? Uniquely made. Some people, they got to see that hair. You got that hair. You got that hairstyle in some of those shots, boy. I was like, this dude's got it going on. But
I'm rocking that solid even Steven.
Okay.
Yes. Sometimes you got to make a change too.
I feel you.
You got to be the change that you want to see.
I feel you. Well, you clearly were uniquely made by the God of the universe to be the absolute best version of you that you can possibly be. And I can see that you're becoming that divine person. You're going through the process. You're doing the right things. You're spreading the good word. You're doing all of these incredible things on this planet. And I want you to know that you matter. It's making an impact, man. It's making an impact on this group this morning. It's making an impact on your friends, your family members. It's making an impact on everyone around you, all those beautiful people that come and watch you perform. Your voice makes a massive impact just instantly as soon as you hear it. And so I want you to know, man, I want you to know that you matter. You're making a massive impact. And I, for one, I absolutely love you for it, man. I do. I stinking love you. And I appreciate you spending time with us this morning here on #Rise and Grind. I know it's early. Yeah. And I know we had some stuff, but I really appreciate it. And I cannot wait to continue to push this out for the next. I mean, this thing will keep rolling for the next week. It'll hit thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I hope that all of you guys that are watching right now, I hope you'll go follow Delvin Choice. Where's the best place for them to follow you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Delvin Choice. You can also look me up. I have my fan page on Facebook is Delvin Choice as well. And then I also, or maybe Delvin R Choice. And then I also have Twitter, which is at DRC. No, at DR Choice. Lord, I told you.
It gets to be a lot, man.
That sleep coming, but DR Choice on Twitter.
Right on, man. Right on. Well, we're going to hop off on here. You guys have an incredible day today. Have a phenomenal day. If you need more videos like this, you can go to GlennLundy.com. If you need some #Rise and Grind gear, anything like that, go to GlennLundy.com. And if you haven't signed up for the 2019 Goalkeeper yet, I'm telling you, you need to go do that. Go to www.2019goalkeeper.com and you can sign up. Delvin, you are a rock star, my man. I'm going to let these fine folks go, and then I'm going to talk to you for just a second. So you hang tight, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thanks, my man.